Coming up next, I'm going to teach you how to create goals that you're going to actually meet. And it's a personal system, so you may not like it. And then new data says remote work could be costing you too much money. We'll break that down. Let's go. When you get better, your paycheck gets bigger, and I want to help you get better so that we put some more money in the bank account. I want you to win professionally, so let's get to it. Let's talk about something that's always an issue, and I think it's kind of fun to do this not in January, right? Because most of the world starts thinking about goals in the forms of resolutions at the first of the year, and we know that 91% of people don't actually achieve their New Year's resolutions, and yet we continue to do it. And it's just honestly the definition of insanity, right? We just keep doing the same thing year after year. Oh, I got some New Year's resolutions, and then 91% of people fall off. And so let's look at why, so that we can begin to understand how we as humans are wired. And then I'm going to make this very, very personal because I'm not the most disciplined person in the world. So this may be a new way of looking at goals. Okay? Because I actually don't think goals are about discipline. More on that in a moment. So, 91% of people fall off their New Year's resolutions. Why is that? I think it's because there's zero motivation behind the goal. So the New Year's resolution is more of a guilt thing. I think it's driven by guilt. I'm not making enough money. I got too much debt. I don't exercise. I don't look good in my clothes anymore. I mean, I don't know what your resolution is, but I actually think it's guilt-driven. And I don't think guilt is a great motivator. I think guilt can work for some people. If you guilt yourself into something, it can work, I guess. I don't have any data to support this. I'd love to have, I think psychiatrists or psychologists would back me up on this, that guilt is only a starter. Guilt can't drive finishing. It can drive starting. It can't drive finishing. I just don't think it can, because I think what happens is you get over the guilt. You have guilt about it. Oh, I got to change this. I got to start working out. So let's just take the gym, all right? Because this is what we see every year in January. People sign up for their gym membership. The gym gets really busy all of a sudden. And those of us who actually like to go to the gym, who actually work out 3 to 4 times a week, I got to share a machine with you. And I'm disgusted at you because I know that you're in the 91%. I just know. You always see the newbie. Oh, boy, this guy's got some guilt. This guy's got some guilt about his gut, right? It's the guilt about the gut. But see, guilt gets him in the gym, gets him started, but then he's got to actually work hard. And then he's got to eat right. And oh my gosh, that requires discipline. But what drives discipline, I ask? Thank you. I ask myself. Nathan, you know what drives discipline? It's conviction. You could use the word passion. Discipline is a result of conviction, of passion. So in other words, guilt can't drive discipline. That's why 91% of people who go to the gym in January aren't there in February. There's no real conviction. They're not going, I want to be really healthy for the rest of my life, or so I could be around with my kids, or I've got a heart condition and the doctor says if I don't dramatically change my ways, I am going to die early. So, let me tell you why I believe in conviction or passion to drive discipline and goals. I am not a disciplined person. I can't ever find my keys. By the way, lost my keys yesterday here in the office. I got to have my keys because you got to have a fob to get through the doors around this place. And found my keys. It was in an area where we work, and there's a couch area, and I had sat down and dropped my keys, got up and left. No idea where my keys are. Last week, could not find my laptop, Alex. I'm just looking for... Wait. Where's my computer? I was in a couple conversations, blah, blah, blah. And I go, and I'm talking, I got some meetings. I go back to my desk and I hit my keyboard and my laptop's not there. And I'm like, where in the crap is my laptop? By the way, it was right here. I got done with the show. I shut it. I probably got distracted. Alex had to tell me to do something. And what did I do? I walked off. No freaking idea. For 2 hours, I've got building services helping me find my laptop. And it was here, right where I left it. All right. I got lots of issues, ADHD, but my point is I'm not a disciplined, structured guy by nature. I don't like to exercise. I don't. Now I love it. But until 4.5 months ago, Alex, I didn't like to exercise. I loved to play sports my whole life. I would do, Bob, the things I had to do to make the team, but I didn't like it. And so I became an adult and I stopped working out. I stopped exercising. So I want to take you to conviction here. And then I'm going to give you my goal process, okay? Having a little fun today. Hope you're still with me. I'm trying to keep it real. So I read an article on January 10th. January 10th. And the crux of the article was that we lose, adults, it's going to freak some of you out. We lose a percentage of our muscle, our body muscle, every year starting at the age of 30. So in other words, once you hit 30, if you do not exercise and work out, your muscle is atrophying, and that's why we see old people whose bodies look like gravity has ravaged them. And I'm not making fun of old people. I'm going to be old. But Nathan, it hit me. And my parents are getting older, and I don't know why, but I read that article, and for whatever reason, it hit me right between the eyes. And I said, oh, man, I'm turning 50 this year. And I looked at my arms, and I was like, I got a little dad bod going on, and it's just kind of atrophying. And I'm not trying to look great on the beach. That was not my motivation. My motivation is to have some strength as I age, because the rest of the article started breaking down what that muscle loss does to me. And I was, Bob, I got to tell you, it was a wake-up call. So it was about aging with health. It wasn't about looking good at the beach, right? And so here's what I want you to understand. In that moment, it became a conviction issue to me. And guess what Kenny Boy started doing? I started going back to the gym and lifting weights. And I hated it. But I kept doing it because I said I can no longer live with myself if I don't lift weights. If I don't lift weights, it's not about looking good in my clothes or looking good at the beach. I'm not going to age with strength. And so all of a sudden, I got into it. And I've been working out for 4.5 months, 4 days a week. I'm throwing iron around, and I'm adding muscle. I'm starting to like the way I look in my shirt. And Nathan, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't going to share this on the show, but I'm going to share it. Alex, you'll appreciate this. You have teens. My daughter's 15. Love my daughter. She loves me. She really affirms me. But she also tells me all the time that I'm cringe. And, she lets me know when I, am cheesy dad stuff, like Kelly does as well. My associate producer called me a grandfather the other day. It's good for me. I receive it. I was walking through the house, and Kelly, I apologize to all our female viewers if this makes you uneasy. I apologize, but I'm just going to keep it real because this is about motivation. This is about goals. It was about 10 minutes to 10 last week, and I was in my bedroom getting ready to hop in the sack, and had my shirt off and my pajama pants on. Again, I apologize, ladies, if this in any way makes you uncomfortable. And I'm walking through, I leave the bedroom to go back into the kitchen to get something, and my daughter is walking towards our bedroom to tell my wife something, and my daughter says to me, "Wow, Dad, you really have been working out." Bob, made my day. Made my day. My point is, I'm having fun with this. She noticed that my body's beginning to change. I'm beginning to add muscle. Here's my point. My whole deal with goals, I'm not a disciplined person. It's about conviction. And here's what worked for me. Alex, I decided I was going to try to make it through 1 week and work out 4 times a week. That was it. That was my first goal. It wasn't join a gym. It wasn't take Body for Life or Mind Pump or Body Pump or whatever. It wasn't sign up for anything. It was like, I'm going to go to my neighborhood gym and I'm going to work out 4 days. 2 days upper body, 2 days lower body. Let's just see, can I, in a 7-day period, can I show up and do a really good workout? And I did. And it sucked. And then when I got up that second week, Bob, I was pretty excited to do it. And I did it again, and it sucked. And then about 3 weeks in, it stopped sucking. I stopped hurting. I wasn't sore anymore because the muscles were now getting used to it. And here's the takeaway. I think you got to get to a point where you set out some structure. I'm going to give you my structure. Where do I want to be relationally? Where do I want to be professionally? Where do I want to be physically? Where do I want to be mentally? And where do I want to be spiritually? Those are my forward 5. If I'm moving forward in those 5 areas, then I'm growing. Now, you can do what you want. Those are my forward 5. I call them the forward 5. I want to move forward in those areas. So I look at those areas and I go, and we're just having fun with the physical stuff. And I look at myself and I'm going, I'm not aging well. I'm not adding strength. I'm atrophying. I'm becoming a puddle of tissue. There's no muscle. And that's going to affect my healing. It's going to affect my ability to exercise, all the things. And so I said, I've got to change that. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to try to win the first week. What does winning the first week look like? And that's what happened. So if you want to figure out how to really set goals that you can accomplish, set goals that are around a deeply held conviction of where you want to be. All of the other New Year's resolutions are guilt-driven because of society and you comparing yourself to everybody else. Throw that crap away. It'll never sustain. But if you start asking yourself, where do I want to be in some key areas of your life? Now we've got a problem we're solving and a plan that meets the goal. Hey folks, I want to tell you about Aiden. He started at Bethel Tech 2 weeks after graduating high school, and less than a year later, he's 19 and working as a full-stack software developer. He loved the idea of being able to work at his own pace, but what he really thought was cool was Bethel Tech's faith-based learning environment and being with classmates who had a similar worldview. Now, if this is you, or if you have a son or a daughter that's looking for the next step out of high school, and they may be tech-minded, at least interested, you need to talk to Bethel Tech. Listen to this. Fortune Magazine named them as a top 10 best UX UI bootcamp for 2024. And right now, they're offering you 10% off because you listen and watch the Ken Coleman Show. They also allow you to pay cash, and I know you'll like that. Go to betheltech.net/Ken Coleman for details. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back. We've renamed the show. It's called the Ken Swoleman Show. Getting swole. There we go. We got some definition happening there. Look at that. It's going to take time, but I'm told, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, Kelly, for you to keep making fun of me, we're looking at 6 months to 12 months when you're my age. I'm on the precipice of 50 to where we're going to see some really massive gains. So I'm going to own this, by the way. I'm staying with it. And 6 to 12 months, if 12 months from now, this is really, you will watch. I'm going to start wearing the super fitted shirts just because. Because if I'm going to work that hard, I'm going to go with it. Now, I'm never going to be the guy. I can see Kelly staring a hole through me. I feel it. I'm not even looking at her. I'm not going to be the guy that posts the obnoxious social media showing off. Not going to do that. But do I see myself wearing a maybe even more fitted shirt? Oh, to be honest with you, I keep this medium. I'm a schmedium anyway. You know what a schmedium is? It's like your ideal shirt size between a small and a medium. That's kind of where I live. So if I just stay there and I keep adding muscle, Nathan, maybe that's the goal. No new clothes, just let's see if we can tighten them up. All right. Boy, I have completely just gone overboard on this. But hey, listen, this is about growth. And I'm in a season of growing. Are you proud of me? Kelly's so rolling her eyes so hard, she's gonna have a headache. All right. A couple things. If you enjoy the show and this obnoxious rabbit trail, give us a like, a share, a comment, 4-star, 5-star, whatever it is. Tell everybody about it, a follow, the whole 9 yards. There you Okay. This is interesting. You remote workers got some data here. It's going to make some of you upset, but this is not anti-remote work. This is a warning if you're in remote work. Okay, here's the headline. This is a CBS News article. Are you spending more money shopping online? Remote work, and this could be your hybrid job, could be the culprit. New data from MasterCard says, and boy, would MasterCard know. Talk about an expert on online shopping. If MasterCard's giving you data, you should probably snap your head and listen. Here's what they said, that remote work drove an additional $375 billion in online spending last year. Nicholas Bloom, who's a Stanford University professor of economics and one of the report's authors for MasterCard, said this to CBS Money Watch. A huge amount of spending came from the increase in people working from home. It's more convenient because I can easily order without anyone looking over my shoulder if your laptop screen is facing out and people see you buying clothes. That's a good point. So if you're in an open office environment and you're shopping and you're shopping online. Kelly, do you shop online for clothes?
Yes, it's not always successful, but we do what we can. Do
you spend more time online shopping for clothes or anything else, or do you still brick and mortar it? What's the breakdown?
Brick and mortar, very minimal, but I spend a lot of my time online shopping, especially if I'm being served ads, because then I just go down a whole rabbit hole.
See, there it is. She is Exhibit A, and she works here in the office. Imagine if Kelly worked at home all day long. She'd be broke, because she'd just be in one giant rabbit hole of ads. And that's what's happening according to the data. So they actually track this. This is pretty fun. In U.S. zip codes where a large share of the population works at home, that's where the online spending levels were. So I think we've driven this point home. Uh-oh, what's going on? Scott Baker, who's an associate professor of finance at Kellogg School of Management, who also worked on the report, said he's observed what he called a learning effect. People who previously never shopped online, by the way, that would be me, because I just, I'm late to the game on, listen, folks, I'm analog, all right? I think it was 8 years ago I stopped finally getting the USA Today delivered to my driveway. That was fun for me. Bob, you remember that when papers got delivered to the driveway? Alex, are you old enough to remember that? Sort of, kind of. I mean, I got to tell you, it was very exciting. I'd get a cup of coffee. I had my Restoration Hardware robe on. This is key, so everybody understands I'm properly attired. I mean, that robe goes down to about that high, about 3 inches above my ankles. So, I mean, summer, winter, that's my jam, Kelly. The Restoration Hardware chocolate robe, by the way. It's like a Snuggie, but it's not a Snuggie. It's that comfortable. I would walk out, cup of coffee in hand. Hello, neighbors, if they saw me in the robe. By the way, guys always looked at me a little weird. The ladies, they looked at me with jealousy. They're like, that's a nice robe. I could tell. I could tell. That's a quality piece of garment he's got on. Nathan, I think you were at a Christmas party at my house once where I actually came out into the living room with the robe on over my clothes. Do I remember that correctly?
I think you did.
Because George was there, George Camel, my colleague, and George was really jealous. He wanted to see the robe. And I think I put it on George, and it covers George. It actually goes all the way. Like, you can't even see George, just his head. And then it's like a king's robe because it gathers at his feet because he's too short. But anyway, I would go out and grab the paper, and I was very, very excited about that. And I would read. So for me, everything's analog. So now all these people they go home from the pandemic, and here's what the article says: everybody goes home, and everything was online. And back then, in a lot of places, you couldn't even go to. Everything was ordered online. Your groceries, all this kind of stuff. In my neighborhood, our liquor store, we have a liquor store in our neighborhood, and they were doing delivery. They were doing online delivery for the alcohol and curbside service. You could go online, order it, and then they would put your liquor out in a brown bag on the curb. By the way, we live in a low crime neighborhood. No one complained of anyone stealing their package. It was like, okay, this is mine, this is yours, had your name on it with a Sharpie. Unbelievable. All right, here's why we're sharing this. In a hybrid world where a lot of people are going to be working from home, even in a hybrid environment, what you've got to understand, there's a psychology there, and I think this is bigger than just online shopping. We're having fun with the online shopping. You're spending too much money. Here's what's going on. When you are isolated, even if you're with your family, when you're isolated and your work is remote and on a computer, you have to be very, very disciplined. There are people who can do it. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to offend anybody, there are people who cannot do it. And I think this is, again, more than just about online shopping. I think this is about exercise. What are you eating? When you're at the office, you're not walking by the refrigerator 17 times in a day. And I just think that, again, if you're going to be a remote worker, a hybrid worker where you have some time, I think you've got to have built-in disciplines and built-in accountabilities that make it not so starkly different than going into the office. It's too comfortable at home, and that's going to challenge you mentally, physically, emotionally. It's just going to challenge you. So you got to be careful. So interesting stuff. More data on that. And by the way, we're back to pre-pandemic levels on remote work anyway, so it's not like a lot of you have that option like you truly want. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Welcome back, here to help you win professionally so that you're moving up, fattening the bank account, and having more freedom to live the life you want to live. Let's go to Greensboro, North Carolina. Sam is joining us. Sam, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
Oh, living the dream here myself as well.
All right. What's happening today?
All right. So a little bit of a long story, but I'll keep it short for you.
All right.
Throughout my professional experience and all the jobs I've had, which has been numerous over the last few years, I have dealt with a lot of very poor leadership examples. Either, whether it be workplace harassment or watching something else happen to a colleague, something like that has happened to me, excuse me, in pretty much all of my workplace settings.
Wow.
With that being said, here as of recently, I'm not too happy with where I'm at. I don't really find any fulfillment, excuse me. And so it has sparked this desire in me to become my own boss and create my own business.
Okay.
However, I don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
I have jobbed around from place to place to place. I've done a lot of different jobs, and I've just never found a field that I enjoy being in.
Okay.
And so my question to you is, what do you recommend to somebody who has a desire to start their own company, to hire people, to open up a job for somebody that they would love and enjoy? That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, well, you got to get the business first. I think you're getting I appreciate the question, but we're not even worried about how to hire people and all that. We've got to figure out the problem you want to solve, because anytime somebody wants to start a business, they are solving a problem, or we could say meeting a desire, right? So businesses are in the business of solving problems, meeting desire. So we've got to get clear on a few things. One, what you're best at doing, okay? Because you're the chief everything officer when you start a company, okay? We've got to get clear on what kind of work you really enjoy, or what kind of problems really fire your heart up, solutions that excite you. We've got to figure that out, because that's where the ideation comes from. And then that allows us to do selection. So anytime we're going, okay, I want to start a business, ideation is first. Okay, we're looking at those things that, the type of business that would meet those needs of yours, that would allow you to do something you're good at, to allow you to do something you enjoy, to create a result that you care about. That's the methodology of my Get Clear career assessment. Have you taken that by any chance?
I have not.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you today. And so your homework is to take it. Kelly will give you the new book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, because that's what you have to find first. Finding the work you're wired to do is the baseline, because once you figure that out, you go, oh, okay, then what's a business idea, or what's an existing business or sector where I could start a business that, again, would allow me to do the work I'm wired to do. In other words, the work you're wired to do, Sam, is to use what you do best, that's your talent, to do work you love, passion, to produce results you care about, mission. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to give you the book, all right? I want you to take the assessment, and I want you to read the book, okay? Because the book is me coaching you through the ideation and selection process once we've got clarification, all right?
All right.
All right, now.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but let's ideate here for just a couple minutes. Okay, because I think we can get you started, and I think the assessment will verify some stuff. What have you always done well? People have always complimented you. It's, in other words, it's how you wow people. People go, "Oh, Sam, you're really good at that. That comes easy for you." Sam, help me do this.
Well, I'd say there's two things that come to mind would be my people skills.
Okay, great.
Just communicating with people, and then just I like to do a lot of stuff with my hands. I just rewired a whole boat a few months ago, and so that was a big accomplishment of mine that a lot of people really, they saw and they're like, "Wow, you did that, and you did a really good job of it."
I'm saying wow right now because the idea of me wiring a flashlight is impossible. You rewired a boat. I mean, my goodness. So that's great. So we're good at solving mechanical, technical problems. You're just good with your hands and your head because your brain informs your hands what to do. You could tear something apart, fix it, build it up. So we know that that's a skill. And you also have the additional skill of connecting well with people and communicating with people. So that's great. So I can tell you right now, if I'm on a whiteboard, I'm literally going to write up there, first business idea, running a company that fixes or builds stuff for people, right?
Gotcha.
Because now I know you've got some acumen in that area, and you're going to be pretty good at hiring and leading people. At least you have a good chance at it because of your people skills, right?
Yep.
So I go, man, that's exciting. So now let's have some fun with that. Let's just stay on that lane, okay? Just for fun, all right? Let's say that I gave you $100,000 today. And I said, Sam, this $100,000 goes to starting a company, but my stipulations are this. Number one, you can only use the money to cover the costs of getting this thing up and launched and paying you for the first 30 days so that your time is worth it. And I don't care if you make a cent on this. This is a $100,000 gift, and we're going to take 30 to 60 days, and the $100,000 goes to you and maybe one or two hires and any equipment, blah, 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 and it just gets us started. Okay, just a fun little exercise. And we're just going to see how this thing goes. And I don't care if you don't return 1 cent back to me. It's just a $100,000 gift to try a business. What business would you try? By the way, the other stipulation is it's got to be fixing or building something that you understand, and that's my only stipulation. So what would you do?
I would probably open my own shop that installed electronics on boats, and not necessarily motors, but more or less electronics, because I'm like the whole wiring thing. That just piqued my interest. I loved working on that. Okay, is that a viable business now? Like if you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I got a boat, and what problem would I have with that boat that would require that service? Because I don't know anything about it. So in Greensboro, North Carolina, I'll say this: I'm a big time fisherman. So fishing right now is electronics, depth finders, fish finders, whatever you want to call them, or thousands of dollars.
I had no
and
idea.
People are buying them left and right to put on boats.
Okay.
And so troubleshooting that for people who may not be as efficient with technology as a younger person maybe would be where I would hope to shine. All right, so just a fun little experiment there, and you see how we came up with one idea that I think has been sitting below the surface. You didn't just come up with that on the spot, did you? I've been thinking about that for a little while. Okay, great. So all I did was I created this little fantastical situation. It's a fantasy. Yeah. But it got you to just simply get out of your head and go, well, this is what I would do, right? Yep. You see the process that we're going through? It's as simple as that. So here's the question. Do you have the talent to be
the chief everything officer on that business idea? Meaning you don't have an employee, but you could do all the stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Do you have the talent to communicate and connect with customers and potential customers?
That'd
Yes.
probably be my weakest part.
Not
yes.
true at all. You just told me that people said you're really good with people.
True.
So is a
Okay.
person who's good with people have the requisite talent to learn how to connect, and I mean connect on a personal level. I know you can, and then communicate what's necessary to get this thing off and running. My point is, you don't struggle with people skills.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes.
All right.
You're right.
You see the exercise here?
Yeah.
So I want you to take the assessment, because the assessment is going to, for you, it's going to do two things. For everybody, it gives them a purpose statement that lets them say, I was created to use these things I do best, my talent, to do these things I enjoy doing most, passion, to produce results that I care deeply about. Boom. Okay. It's going to give you that. But that now becomes actually a description of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Gotcha.
essentially on the bottom half of the assessment is passion and mission. Work I love to do and results that I care about. My guess is that you're highly motivated to drive efficiency and service. That would be my guess. So any business that can drive efficiency, make something work better, work excellent, and allows me to serve people on the other end of that. So you got a guy comes up to you, a good old boy in Greensboro, North Carolina, and he goes, "Hey Sam, man, I need a fish depth finder." I didn't even know what a fish depth finder is until you told me 20 seconds ago. And you go, "Man, I can hook you up. What you need is the Fish Depth Finder 3000." But it's a real bear to put on your boat. But I tell you what, I'll come over to your house. If you pay me for my time, I'll give you a discount. Probably cost you X amount of money to do it over at the at Bubba's Fish Shop. And I'll do it for 20% less. That's how we get started.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yep.
My man,
Got it.
you got some homework to do. Hang on the line. Kelly will get you the Get Clear assessment in the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. And I'm going to learn more about fish depth finders. I think I made that up. I'm not even sure that's what Sam told me, but it was the general idea.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.